say hypothetically somebody has, let's say somebody bought 1,000 blue tokens, right? So at the current price right now, 1,000 blue tokens, that'll be $24. So I'm gonna pull this over here just so you can see. So that'll be about $24,000,
The
right?
other 8.555
Blue, you're gonna sell it. So you're gonna do 8.55 blue times 24. That's gonna give you the other half. You see, the math works out right here, 205. Then what you're gonna do, and that's fine. Again, if you want to sell this way, that's no problem. But if you believe in the project, or you want to support the project, or you want to scale out appropriately and make sure that there's no
Mason00g runs on Tron and XRP. Come and join me, cause you know where I be. Mason00g.
Hello, everyone! My name is Catalina. Welcome to the Mason00g show. We create YouTube videos, podcasts, and provide continuing education at the 00g Crypto Academy website at crypto00g.com. This content is for mature audiences only. Mason00g is not a financial advisor, tax advisor, your dad, or your mom. This content is for educational purposes only and awareness in the crypto and TradFi markets. When it comes to financial decisions, remember to never play with or invest more money than you are willing to lose. All financial markets, and yes, including cryptocurrency, are highly volatile and sometimes speculative. Always do your own research, and none of our content should be taken as financial advice. Thank you and enjoy the show. See you later.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Mason00g here. When you hear that beat, it's time to eat, baby. Let's go. So, I know I've been out of pocket for a minute. There's been some things going on. What I'm saying, on the crypto side, a little bit of drama. In the past, but if you know, you know. There's always two sides to the story, but we're not gonna go into it on this video. But if you know, you know, then you know. One of the things I wanted to say though is I wanted to give a shout out to my herd family. Regardless of the situation, my herd family will always be my herd family. And the main purpose of this video is to kind of let the herd know that they are potentially missing out on something massive. Um, in my personal opinion. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what the end result will be, but I can only tell you what I see and what I like, and I am invested into it. So we'll get into that shortly. But before we do that, I kind of want to go over something that I shared with the herd a long time ago. It didn't really go too far. It should have, because I had a play, chess not checkers. We've all heard that before. And like I said, it is what it is. But I definitely want to say, be careful who you listen to, and I'm about to show you why. So there was a time ago, a while back. Some of you, if you did end up watching this video, people that's in the herd, it was on a AMA or a Telegram, and I mentioned that XRP was going to be a massive play sometime around a year ago. So if you look right here, we're looking on, this is on Dex Tools, we're looking on the XRP Wrap BNB. So if you look right here, last year, XRP was around, let's say, 50 cent. And we'll just say between, we'll say between April 23 to November or October of 24, XRP was ranging between 92 cent and 40 cent. And I told the herd community that XRP was going to be huge, and and to get some goddamn XRP. And so I put that out there. Now, everybody got their own conviction, everybody got their own understanding. I get it, but let's look at what happened. So from that point of October 24 to now, we're at about a 600% rise, over 600% rise. And I'm going to say it again. I think XRP, hopefully, when the case is over by the end of this year, I believe the XRP, I'm just gonna say around $10. I'm just gonna throw it out and say $10. I'm gonna say I hope before the end of this year, but most definitely by the time mid next year, 2026. So do what you will. Again, Catalina already told you, I'm not your dad or your mom. Do your own, make your own decision, do your own stuff, but I got receipts. So it is what it is. So and I'm Gucci. Let's just say that. So anyway, okay, let me go ahead and get into what the actual video is for. Enough about that. I just wanted to show people that, there was some plays there, and that was a solid play on a blue chip that's been here since 2014, and will continue to do massive things here in the future. All right, so let's go ahead and get into what we're here for. Okay, so what I want to show you here is a protocol that I am in right now. I have a test wallet connected, so it's not about what I have or what anybody else's has. Nobody should be wallet watching or sales shaming, any of that. So the main thing I want you to understand is how does this work and what's going on with Blue Protocol. Now I have heard rumors of different opinions. I'm not gonna say what they were, but if you've heard stuff, then and you made a decision off of that, then that's on you. But this thing launched at $5, and here we are at $24. So, I believe in this. I think the developer Aaron, he's been doing a great job. I'm part of his other projects that he's in, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. I'm in. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm in. So, yeah, I'm liking it. It's very amazing. But I want to talk about, the actual things that are going on under the hood. I think a lot of people are misunderstanding the power of this Blue Protocol based on what I'm seeing and the things that you're able to do. First off, I wanna say that I love how Aaron is it like, oh, this is a passive income generator, and blah blah blah. He's very low key about it, which I love. I don't think there needs to be any passive income, anything on here. But if you understand the math, you understand the underlying utility of this Blue Protocol, you will see that this is actually a way to generate passive income. And so, if you don't understand that, I can get into that. So, right now, like I said, let's pull up the chart real quick, just so we can have it up, and then from here on, we'll just reference that number. So, give me a second. Let me pull up the chart. Okay, so this is the chart right here. I'm looking at it from the DEX tools, and we're looking at under the blue wrap BNB, and the liquidity is provided under Pancake V3 as of now. He is working on bonds and stuff like that. That's going to be utilizing V2. But anyway, so this is the current price. We're looking at $24.19. For the sake of this video, we're just going to keep it at a fixed rate. We're not going to worry about the market conditions because there is going to be some math that I want to show you guys, some mathematicas that I want to show you guys here so you can fully understand the power of this protocol. So if you look right here, like I said, the price is 24. Let's go back in history and let's look at, let's see, it looks like it launched on the 17th of July. So maybe about what, a week ago, a week and a half ish, something like that. And it came out like around $5. So let's see, right down here. Yeah. So this is when it came out, like right here. Yeah, July 17th. And it was around $5 when it came out. If you were lucky to get in, congratulations. We did have some healthy sales here, which is great. That's the good thing. People took profit. You should always take profit. There's no problem with taking profit. And there should be no sales shaming. People need to take profit. You don't know what's going on in people's situation. And nobody, should have no need to be worried about being chastised or, worried about what they did. Just for it, I'm just speaking in a general sense. That should just be the understanding. People have to take profit. I mean, they put their money in, they should be able to take profit, responsibly, or whatever they see that they need at that time. So if you look right here, we had a pullback. So we went from We went from $5 right here to approximately $27. We had a retracement. So let's look at the percentages here. So let's try to do it. I usually like to count the wicks. That kind of gives a full picture. So we'll say at the lowest point, we'll move all the way over. We'll say about 40% ish, because most more than likely it probably went lower, but the candle got bought up. So yeah, so we had about a 37 to 40% retracement, and we're already have moved already back up. And so if we look right here, of course you can do this on your own. I'm just showing you, just so you can see it. So we already had like a 26% rise. So that dip has pretty much already been eaten up, which is great. And then of course we having a little bit of retracement here, which is fine, and here. But anyway, so the point is we went from $5 to $24, and that's where we are right now. So let's get into the actual math that people can understand why, and like I said, this is my personal opinion, the reason why I like blue. So let's go ahead and get into that. Okay, so as I stated, the reason why I like blue is because it is a passive income generator without putting it in your face. So it's up to you to understand the math, understand what's really going on under the hood. So if you look right here, it says a 50,000% APY, right? And when you stake. So what happens is you go, you click on, and also I want to talk about this later, but you have a simple view and a pro view. So we're going to stay in the simple view for right now, and then depending on if I have time, we'll go into the pro view. But if right now all you have to do is you click on buy. This link is going to take you to Pancake. If I have time, I might go into that. Not necessarily buying it, but just showing you, when you get to the Pancake. I am assuming that you're a little bit intermediate. This video isn't really for like newbies, like crypto newbies. If you do want to learn more, then hit me up on the side, email me or something like that, and then we can work something out. But I'm not really trying to be here to like go through the whole like this is your wallet, this is how you move, and that's like 2017, bro. Like if you're in crypto, you should know how to do all that. If you're new, then you need a mentor. So if that's something that you're interested in, hit me up, and if we're looking at the right stuff, then, we could push forward. But anyway, so what you want to do is once you get your blue token, so let's say hypothetically somebody has, let's say somebody bought 1,000 blue tokens, right? So at the current price right now, 1,000 blue tokens, that'll be $24. So I'm gonna pull this over here just so you can see. So that'll be about $24,000, right? So you got $24,000 into the protocol. Now, what can you do with that? So I'm going to show you here. Let me pull this 1 second. Let me pull this back up. Here, we'll do this right here. All right. Where's my other calculator? This one right here. Okay. All right. So you have $24,000 into the protocol, and let me move this over to the side. Just move it down here. Okay, so you have $24,000 invested into the protocol. You bought 1,000 blue. This is just hypothetical. You don't have to spend that much, but I'm just giving an example. So you're going to be earning, 1.71% per day on that 24,000 in blue. Okay, so let me say that again for the people in the back. I'm using the dollar reference, but you're going to be earning that value in blue based on how much blue you have and based on the market price of blue. Okay. So let me just show you from the dollar perspective and then we'll convert it into blue so you can understand what I'm saying. So again, you bought $24,000 worth of blue, which is worth roughly $1,000, right? And then you're going to do times 1.71%, which is right here. So basically, let me break it down again. You're earning blue, you're earning on your stake of blue, you're earning every 4 hours. Okay, so it says right here, each per epoch is 4 hours. So basically you're getting paid 6 times a day. You do 24 divided by 6, you get 4 hours, that's the way it works. Okay. Now, so we're gonna hit equal. So you're gonna be making about $410.40 per day in blue. Okay. Now, how do you figure out that math calculation? What you do is you take this number here, you divide it by 24, which is the current price of blue. So you're going to be earning about 17.1 blue per day as long as you're staking. Okay. So you have to make sure that when you buy your blue, that you're also staking it right here. So you go in, of course, you can unstake it. As far as my knowledge, there is no unstaking fee. It's stake for stake. And that's how it works. So the ability to be able to earn, passive income from your blue token is very powerful. And then there's some more advanced things that you can do with that, and I'm going to try to go into that and explain how you can do that. But let's just finish out the website first to make sure that you fully understand what's going on. So let's just do a recap. You go first, you buy blue for whatever amount you want to buy it for. Okay. Then you come here and then you want to stake it. Once you stake it, you're going to be earning 1.71. I mean, the 4 hours, uh, per day, whatever, 4 hour, every 4 hour thing, 6 times a day. Um, that's not something you really need to worry about. The best thing to do is look at it from a daily rate. So if you look at your account from 10 a.m. to the next day, 10 a.m., then you will have earned 1.71%. That's the easiest. I'm trying to keep it simple. So this is just kind of telling you the breakdown of, excuse me, the breakdown of it, but don't necessarily worry about that. Just focus on the daily rate. Okay. Now this interest rate will decrease over time. I think based on what I read, I think it's going to be about 3 months or so. And of course, Aaron will decide, how that needs to go as the protocol continues to grow. So, what should your goal be? Or, I'll speak from my perspective because I don't want to be telling anybody what they should be doing. Again, it's your money. You do what you need to do. But my goal is to let my blue stake as much as possible. As far as my understanding, there is only 100,000 blue. Okay. Um, Now, let me since I'm talking about that, let's go to the docs here. Um, I have been wanting to see like a little bit more information on the number tokenomics per se, but I do believe there's only 100,000 blue. So I believe it's the same for S Blue. I'm not 100% sure. I think there's an allocation there, which is why the API will go down over time because there will be less S Blue available to give to more blue. So I don't think this is actually necessarily hyperinflationary. I think it's only inflationary for a time, as in, and when I say inflationary, I mean you're earning more blue passively. That's only going to be until the allocated S blue becomes lower and lower, which means it's going to be harder and harder for you to earn this higher APY. However, the price of blue will skyrocket. So you'll be getting a lower APY, but you'll have a higher balance in blue. Anyway, I might be jumping a little bit far ahead. That might have went over some people's heads. I get it. But yeah, that's what's going on. Now let's talk about the G Blue. I think a lot of people have been getting confused on the G Blue. So my understanding with G Blue, the way it works is this is not necessarily in play right now, but you can still use it to your benefit. Okay, so the G blue is for bridging. So get rid of the G. The G is for governance, in my opinion. I think that's what he was. It's right here, governance blue. But just think of it like a B blue or a bridge blue or a W blue, a wrap blue, right? Just think of it that way. Don't worry about the G blue. All those are just terminology. So just look at it as a wrap blue, and by it being wrapped in the future, based on what Aaron has said, he's going to be able to bridge it to other blockchains. So think about Sui, think about Solana, think about Sonic, think about Base Chain. In the future, think about XRP. That's a possibility because XRP is actually working on. A lot of people don't know they're actually working on their own EVM for the Ethereum virtual machine. So I don't know if Aaron is aware of that. So if he is watching this video, you might want to look at that. So you might be able to actually bridge Blue over to the XRP ledger. Again, I'm part of the XRP army, so I'm always going to make sure those plugs and those knowledges are out there. Anyway, so the way it works is when after you stake your blue, you're going to have your S blue, which means stake blue, and then you're going to take your wrap blue, G blue, or bridge blue, however you want to look at it. And then what you can do is you can actually stake it again, and it converts into G blue, and you're going to be earning at this interest rate. So basically, what I mean is I'm sorry, not the interest rate, the exchange rate, excuse me. So the exchange rate is going to actually be ticking up as every 4 hours that the S blue or the blue gets rebased, right? So you're going to be earning. So it now my thing is I don't understand how quickly this exchange will go up. Is it only time based off the rebasing, or is it based on how many people stake their G blue? I'm not sure, but as far as I know, you will be earning more S blue when you come out based on the exchange rate. I don't believe the exchange rate can go down. I'm not sure. That might need to be a conversation. Um, you know, and we can go from there. But that's what I know as far as G Blue. So I won't go any deeper into that until more information is provided. But that's what I know. So I hope I explained that as well based on my understanding. If somebody has a better understanding, then feel free to drop a comment in the video and kind of let me know if you want to do an interview or something like that and kind of explain, get your voice out there. I have no problem with that. I'm definitely open to that. I think that would be cool. Okay, the next thing I want to get into is the bond market. So you actually have the ability to take your blue and your book and add it to liquidity pool. Again, I'm not going to go too much detail. It has the link here for you. You just click on that. It takes you to Pancake. You provide liquidity. Basically, you do half and half. You make your LP, and then boom, you're in. Okay. Now, there is something else I want to talk about, but I want to focus on this, and I'll see if I can get into that next. So now, what you can do is now here's one thing that I like about this situation, right? So let's see here. If we go to let me see, where's the? Let me try to pull back up the calculators here. Okay. So just like I was saying about how you're earning this 410 a day, what you could do is, take your earnings. Now, I don't recommend you taking all your earnings. I would probably say maybe half. So let's just go through that exercise, right? So let's say you're earning, like I said, let's say you're earning 17 blue, just follow with me. Let's say you're earning 17.1 blue a day. And so that equals about $410.40, right? Let me pull up a separate calculator just so we don't mess with that so everybody can follow along. Now, here's an idea that I've been thinking about. I got a lot of different ideas. I'll be cooking in my brain. So there's different ways you can look at this. So I'm gonna put it out here, and we'll see what happens. But what you could do, I don't recommend you use all your blue, your blue that you're earning to do it. Now you could do it, but I kind of more like the compounding, right? But if you do it this way, actually, it might not be that bad. But anyway, let me just explain. I can get deep on this shit. Okay, so what you do is you take your 410, right? Let's just say we use the whole thing. Let's just do that. So 410.4, and what you do is so that remember that's in blue. So what you do is you divide it by 2, right? Now what you'll do is you'll keep the half in blue, the 205 in blue, and let's do it over here. So actually, let's put one more calculator so you can follow along. I'm doing it the dollar way, and I'm doing it the blue way. You can understand. You got 17.1 blue. You divide it by 2, right? So that means you keep 8.55 blue in your wallet, once you unstake. Now, remember, you are going to unstake. I want to make sure I'm saying this right. So you're going to unstake the blue that you earn for one day. Okay, so you bought 1,000 blue, you're earning 17.1 blue, and it's worth $24. Okay, that's our basis, right? So you're gonna take your 8.55 blue and the other 8.55 blue, you're gonna sell it. So you're gonna do 8.55 blue times 24. That's gonna give you the other half. You see, the math works out right here, 205. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna go buy book. Okay, and I'll show a book chart, but I just want to make sure we stay on task. You're gonna buy book. So I didn't show the price of book, but let's just do a hypothetical. Let's say the price of book right now is 0.007. I'm just gonna throw out a number. So you take 205 divided by 0.007, and you get you some book, right? So now you have this is a dollar value in book. So now you have your book, you have your blue, and guess what? Now you can go here and create an LP. Okay, you see what I'm doing? You see what I'm doing, right? This is amazing. Take your LP and then put it in here. So basically, what you're doing, in a sense, you're hyper compounding, but you're also getting it at a discount. Because if you look right here, there's an 8% discount or a 10% discount. So you could do book or B&B, however you want to do it. Now, I do want to make sure you understand when you put in your book, your blue and your book again back into the system, into the basically the treasury or the bond, you're sacrificing your LP to get that full amount in book at a I'm sorry, in blue at a discount. So let me say it again because I messed up. So or I misspoke. So you're taking your blue book or your blue B&B, you're sacrificing it the entire amount, the entire 410 that's right here, the entire 410, we just did it in half. You're going to get all back in blue at a discount rate. So the current rate, like we said, is 24. What did we say? $24. So you're going to get an 8% discount, which is $22, and then $21. So it's no different than just compounding, or just letting it continue to compound, but you're actually able to get a little bit more blue than you would just accepting the blue that you got via compounding. So, what are the benefits of this that I can see? Now, there may be some, what they call it, what's the word in chess when it's like a discovery? There could be a discovery checkmate here, but I don't think so because you're sacrificing your blue and your book to add liquidity. So what happens when we add more liquidity for a token? It takes more money to to hurt the chart when people decide to sell. And I'm going to segue into that in my opinion. But what is the benefit? The benefit is you get cheaper blue. So I think it's a win-win, honestly. I think it's a win-win because people are going to stake anyway. They're staking, they're earning passively, and then what are they doing? They're selling. They're selling on the chart, and again, that's fine. If you want to sell on the chart to pull out your profit, daily, that's great. But I'm gonna show you another way you could do it without actually, um, you know, showing the sale on the chart. So anyway, I hope that made sense. I know that was a lot right there, so that's just one way. So I have two other plays I'm gonna show you. So the next one I want to show you is going to Pancake and doing your own single side liquidity. Now, I believe I was reading in the TG that Aaron was thinking about doing a single sided liquidity tool just like he did for the book USD or the book yield, for book basically. So that'll be great. But in the meantime, until that tool is made, I'm gonna show you how you could do basically single side liquidity. So I'm gonna show you that next. So let's get into that. Okay. So before I show you, I just want you to see on my test account, just for the sake of showing this demonstration, because I want you to see it live because you have to fully understand how it's going to work. Um, I went and got 5 blue, which is worth $121. So if you look right here, it's going to show it to you on your portfolio. And so we're not going to stake it because we don't need a stake, but let's pretend that I had it staked. I earned 5 blue for the day, and I want to go sell it, right? And you can apply this stuff to what I was just talking about before. But instead of me going to Pancake and just selling it, so I'm gonna show you what I mean. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so we're here now. What most people do, and again, it's fine. Not a lot of people are gonna do this. You don't have to, but I want to show you an alternative to doing it the way that most people do it. So usually when people sell a token, they will go to, they'll go to their applicable decks, Pancake, Uniswap, Jupiter, whatever, and you're going to swap your coins. So in my case, I have 5 blue. I just bought this blue, but 5 blue, and then you select what you want. So you can either do USDC or BNB, whatever. And then so when I sell this 5 blue, worth $121.12, I'm going to get $121.59, based on the conversion as of right now. That's going to be approximately 0.56699 blue. I mean, BNB, excuse me, BNB for my blue. Now, this is one way that you can do it, but it's going to impact the chart, especially depending on if you're doing a lot. Now, 5 blue is not going to really be a big chart, red candle on the chart. What I mean, um, and that's fine. Again, if you want to sell this way, that's no problem. But if you believe in a project, or you want to support the project, or you want to scale out appropriately and make sure that there's no slippage and you get the full amount that you want, or even a higher amount that you want, I'm gonna show you another way how to do it. Okay, so let me show you. Let me show you the chart real quick so y'all can show you what I mean. Now, this is mostly for newbies or new people. I just want to show just so everybody can kind of follow. But like I said, I'm not really trying to do the whole wallet, you know, this and that. I'm not trying to do all that. But let me show you this real quick. So if you look right here, these are red candle sales. This is what I mean on the chart. These are red candles. Amount and volume, or that people sold. So just so you understand, that's what I mean. So if you don't want to sell and provide red candles, I'm gonna show you another way how to do it. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to Pancake Swap. Make sure you're at the correct website. I'll try my best to put the links that I'm showing in the video, in case you are not familiar with all this stuff, so you can have it. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to click on Earn Liquidity. You're going to go here to where you say Add Liquidity. You're going to select V3, right? And then you're going to select, I'll say blue. You're going to select blue right here. And then I would say maybe USDC, you know. You want to make sure you're getting the right one. So you want to make sure you do the Binance pegged USD coin, because you see there's a lot of different USDC ones. You're gonna hit next. Okay. Now this one is up to debate. Especially depending on how much fees you want to collect, and or how quickly you want to be your position to be basically sold out. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the 0.05, which is the one right here. It says, it's on fire. You can do that, or if you want to make a higher fee while you wait, you can do 1% or 0.25%, or if you want to get, if you want your liquidity to be bought up sooner, you could do 0.01. But we're just gonna do the 0.05. All right. And now what we're going to do is we're going to actually select the range or the amount for the price of blue. So it has it right here. The current price of blue is it's shown at about 24.99. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, we want to sell out at we want our blue to be bought at about, let's say, $25, right? And then we want to um, let's go a little bit higher. Let's do 25.10 cent. 25.10. and then we want the max price to be about 25. We'll say 25 cents. So $25.25. Okay, now it's going to say you're not going to earn fees until you get in range. That's fine. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in blue. And the reason why you have to be out of range is so you can do single side liquidity. Because if you look right here, we're providing the blue, but we don't have to provide USDC because what we're saying is once blue hits this target, people are going to take your blue, your 5 blue, and give you USDC in exchange. So that's single side liquidity. And what's going to happen is there won't be any red cell on the chart. The only thing that it will say is liquidity was removed because what will happen is once you do get the USDC that you want, you'll be bought out. So like I said, the only thing you need to look at is what is the current price based on what or what Pancake is telling you, and you go maybe 10 or 25 cents above that. That's the easiest way I can make it simple for you. So, if it says the price of blue is $25, then you just go $25.25. And the benefit of that is, hey, you're going to make a little bit more USDC because you waited for $25.25 instead of $25. And then your max range is going to be $25.50, if you do $25.25. Now you can also do $25.25 and $26, but that just means that it's going to take longer for you to get paid out. So if you want to get paid out as quickly as possible, you want the minimum and the max range to be as tight as possible. If you don't mind letting your blue sit there longer and you don't mind waiting longer, but you want to make more money for your blue as the price is going up, then you can make that max price a little bit bigger, that gap bigger. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to hit enable. We're going to go ahead and do the transaction. You can see here we're doing a transaction on the test account. We're going to pay in BNB. We're going to hit confirm. And now we're going to go ahead and hit add. And it's telling you right here, we're adding no USDC. We're adding 4.99 blue, basically 5 blue. Our fee tier is 0.05. You're not going to earn that much in fees, especially if your range is really, really tight, but you're going to get paid out in USDC a lot quicker. So let's go ahead and sign, confirm, and boom. And you're done. So now all you have to do is go back to the liquidity page, go back to farm, go to my position, and you should see your liquidity pop up here shortly. And this is how you add single side liquidity using a V3 pool. Now, if you notice it says inactive, it's inactive because blue has not reached $25.24 yet. So once, or $25.10, that's $25.24 is the max, and $25.10 or 9 cents is the minimum. So as soon as that comes in range, then I will be paid out in USDC, and my blue will be bought from up under me. So this is a way how you can do single side liquidity. And the cool thing about it too, it's almost like you can set a limit order, which is really cool. So there's a lot of cool things you could do with this, and you can also use this tool for other coins as well. And yeah, so there you go. So another little alpha there from your boy Mason00g, and that's one way that we can help support the Blue Protocol and watch it grow. So let's move on to the next concept here. Okay, now we're back. We're back to the main blue. One thing I wanted to touch on is something that I didn't really emphasize. Again, I don't want to be a hype person. I am a hyper person, but I don't want to be a hype person. I like to make everything level and understanding and level playing field. But I want people to understand that, based on my understanding what Aaron is trying to do, based on the tokenomics, that I understand as of right now, blue could possibly hit $100 or more. $1,000, $10,000. I think I heard him say 10,000. Will it hit 10,000? I don't know. I'm not saying it will, but $100 I could definitely see. So, just keep that in mind based on everything I showed you. If you're earning 47 blue per day, you know, and blue is $100. Hey, you do the math. I don't think I need to do the math for you. You can, if you don't know how to do the math, then you do 47 blue times 100, and there you go. That's per day. So again, these are some things. Now, I want to show something else that people aren't thinking about, and which is another thing that I love about how Aaron has created this opportunity for a lot of people, and they're not really utilizing it how it could be used. So I'm gonna show you something else. Here's another alpha. Check this out. Okay, now I'm not gonna go too in depth with this, but what I want to show is that we still have the app.bookyields.com site. And like I said, I'll try to put the link in the video. Now, if you look at this, you're like, okay, I know this or I don't know this. If you don't know about the Book USD protocol, this is another dApp that Aaron has created. Um, and there's some possibilities that you can do here. So let's say that you either own book, right? Let's say that you own book, or you want to do the things that I was talking about before. I'm just going to give you some, give you some examples. So let's say that you wanted to, let me pull up my calculator. Okay. So here's the cool thing that you can do with this Book USD protocol tool. So I just looked up to verify and I was right. The price of book right now is 0.007 and some change, right? So let's say you either have book or you want to let's say you want to invest in book as well because you feel that book is going to appreciate because blue is now tied to book as liquidity, right? So what you could do is you could actually still invest in both, right? So what you could do, let's say you put let's say 2,500. Let's say you have $2,500 and you're like, man, I want to buy book, but I want to buy blue, but I can't do both. Or you think you can't do both. You actually can do both. And the way you could do it is you can do it this way. So let's say you take 2,500 divided by 0.007. That'll get you about 357,142 book. Now, what you could do is you could actually take that book and put it into a trove. Now, I'm not going to go super deep on this because the video is already getting a little bit too long. There's no way I'm going to explain all this. You're going to have to do some research on the Book USD. There's plenty of videos out there of other people talking about how all this stuff works, trolls, stability pool, bus, and all that stuff. I'm just giving you the basic overview of what you can do. So you take your book, you deposit it into the Book USD protocol, into a trove. Now I recommend that you borrow like under half, right? So if you put in 25, let's go back to the dollars. So if you put in your full amount of book in here, that's about 2,500. So now you have the book, you could borrow collateral out of the book. You understand what I'm saying? So what you do is you say, okay, I want to borrow half, half. So what you can do is now you have 1,250 that you can borrow as Bud. You can convert that Bud into USDC or BNB, whatever the better liquidity is for you. And then what you can do is you can turn around and then buy blue. So now you have $1,250 to play with, or less. Maybe you only want to do 1,000. Maybe you only want to do 500. You want to make sure you keep your troll percentage at a certain level, right? So you don't want to go below. I think it's 175%. I believe. Just going off the top of my head, I think that's what it is. But you want to make sure you stay above. I'd probably say stay above like 250 to 300%. So you may have to play up the number to figure that out. But let's just go with 1,000, right? So let's say you borrow $1,000 from your 2,500, and then you divide that by 24, the price of blue, and so that's going to give you 41 blue that you can actually invest in. And then you can also use a hybrid combination between this and same thing. You could take your book instead of basically throwing away your not. I don't want to say throwing away. That's the wrong word to use. But instead of sacrificing your book into the LP to get the discount, you could actually come here, take the book that you actually have, borrow in BUS, Bud. I'm saying BUSD is what it used to be called, in Bud, and then what you could do is convert it back into book, and then take the blue that you're earning if you're already in blue, and then add the LP pair like we just talked about, and then get a discount in blue. So these are a lot of different utilities that I don't think people are really talking about. And this is what I do. I strategize. When you're in crypto, you have to strategize. You have to look at the systems that are available to you and say, okay, how could I utilize this? What other ways could I? What creative ways could I utilize this? Right. And so these are some of the creative ways that I figured out. And I also have way more other plays than just blue or book. But for the sake of this video, I'm not going to go into that. Maybe I'll do another video depending on the feedback I get. But I mean, ultimately, this is pretty much what I wanted to show. Um, I can't really think of anything else that I want to say. In regards to that, I think the video is already long enough. But yeah, I think that the Blue Protocol is fire. I think it is off the chain. I think Aaron has cracked the code. Outside of an exploit, a hack, or anything like that, I think we're going to be just fine. And I'm very, very bullish on Blue Protocol. That's my take on it. So like I said before, Mason00g. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell button if you want more. The more feedback I get, the more interest I get. It might pull me back into the video making. But this one I had to drop out because, Aaron's doing a good job. I see the work that he's doing, Crypto Arborist, everybody else that's involved, Nick, so on and so forth. And anybody else that I miss, it's not intentional, just it's not coming to me right now. But yeah, I mean, this is a amazing thing. I'm excited to be a part of it. I hope we get some other people involved. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. Catalina has already said it, but I want to make sure I say it to cover myself as well. Not financial advice. I'm not your dad. I'm not your mom. I'm just a dude, on the internet making crypto videos for entertainment. Okay. Mason00g, I am out. Have a blessed day. Have a good weekend. Have fun and make some goddamn money. Peace.